could I help you with? Yes, sir. 13, okay. All right, problem number 13. We have, that's the negative 1/2 x minus y, that one? Is that right? Cool. All right, so first question we're going to say is, are x and y both on the same side of the equal sign? In this case, yes. Okay, that's showing up okay. All right, so x and y are on the same side. So that means our cover method is going to work. So we're going to go 0, comma, blank, blank, comma, 0. Okay. All right, there we go. So show. Cool. All right, so hi, you're my new student. Yeah. Cool. Good to see you. I'll give you a choice. Would you like that seat right there? And don't worry, front row is not always front row because I walk around. So I have that seat, or I got over the nose far free seats. Your choice. Go with that one. Cool. Good to see you. You're coming from Mr. Meow? Oh, well, welcome. Good to see you. Yeah. I saw you showed up on my thing, and then I marked you absent, but I have to unmark you now, so don't worry. It happens. It's not a big deal. I have 3 kind of sort of simple rules. I don't make any rules that only apply to students. Seems good. If you ever have to use the restroom or get a drink of water, just walk out and go. And then no cell phones. Pretty simple. And no cell phones on me either. So yeah, I told you I made. All right. So we are taking a look at number 13, and we're on the cover method. If you want to take some notes on that, get your book here eventually. So cover method works because the x and the y are on the same side. So let's get a shape. Let's go with a circle. Let's go with some good blue color. Whoop. There we go. Go with that one. All right. Is that x value there? I just gave the answer. Is that value there, x or y? I just told you it's x. So that means we're covering up our x value. So, Trayvon, you're okay that your y value is -4 there? So that's all good. There was no problem there, right? So that is a y-intercept. Okay. Now, where it gets goofy is this is the x value, so I'm going to cover this up. So now it becomes goofy. So we can either ask ourselves the question this way, saying, what number can I take -1/2 of to get 4? And that doesn't really always mix. So what I'm going to say is, why don't we say this? Because that's basically the same thing we have, right? So in that case, that means I'm going to multiply both sides by -2/1 or just -2. So that all cancels. So x equals -8. So I get -8 back here. Okay? Connect the dots. But that's truly a much goofier one, but it's just realizing you have a one-step equation to contend with. Okay? And that's the exact same idea as number 12 has the same idea. You'd multiply both sides by -3/1 or just -3. Does that make sense? Is there anything else we can go over on those? And again, I know we need to go over number 15. We feel okay? I see a couple people with cell phones out. I'm not going to mention any names. I got a smile on my face. I hate masks. Yeah. Okay, so x equals that. So yes, if we didn't have both x and y there, we have both have x and y there, this is going to field in to be our x-intercept. Okay, if it just came out to x equals -8 and that's all we had for the whole problem, then yeah, it's going to be a vertical line all day long. But I had both x and y in there, so it's going to cross the x and the y axis. Yeah. 11? Sure. All right, number 11, I have 2x minus y equals 4. Okay, first question. Again, I will always ask it. I'm going to have a sheet for you that is going to help us with all the graphing. Is our x and our y value, are they both on the same side of the equal sign? Yes. So cover method is going to work. So 0 comma blank, blank comma 0. Now I saw a lot of you when I was helping you yesterday, a lot of you are not putting that. Okay? Guys, your conversations come in my room. Can you go elsewhere? And closing my door is not an option. Thank you. All right, so let's do our circle again. We'll fill that bad boy in. Oh, I thought that blue was pretty cool. All right. That is an x value, agreed? Put it over this. So what does y have to be equal to? Not 4. Why not 4? I get this basically is what that's taking place. So what does y have to equal if negative y equals 4? What does y have to equal? Yep. Okay, so if we graph that, 0, negative 4, get down here, that's a y-intercept. Okay. Now let's move our thing over here. That's a y value, covered up. So that's the same thing as saying 2x equals 4. So what does x have to equal in that case? 2. So 2, 0. And that's a x-intercept. Draw a line, connects the dots. Giddy up. Okay. And I think I just want to skip number 15. I will not test you on one like that. If I ever give one like that on a test, good to go. If I give one on a test, we'll do it as a group. Sound like a deal? All right. Everyone okay? 51%. I think we can unplug for a bit. All right, let's go to page 115 of our books. If you didn't bring your book, I got scrap paper up there underneath the monitor. So we're going to talk about slope-intercept. So before we get to slope-intercept, we had done something called standard form. And standard form is where x and y are on the same side. And if that's the case, you go 0 comma blank, blank comma 0, which means you finding the x and the y intercepts. Okay? So that's the first thing we have to talk about. Standard form, we've dealt with them dealt with it yesterday, and we dealt with it Friday before break. I think you do really well with that. And I got to caution you, there's going to be a total of 3 methods of graphing that we're going to hit. One at a time, they're easy. But when you have the thought process saying, which one should I choose? And again, I have a slip of paper. It's going to be half sheet. It's going to kind of be 3 different questions. Do we have this? Yes. Do this. Do we have this? No. Go to question number 2. Question number 2, do you have this? So it'll be kind of a little easier to help you go with it. So first thing we have to talk about is slope of a line. And I know you've probably heard, rate of change in science classes, perhaps. Slope of a line, this is the equation you use. So notice I have y sub 2 minus y sub 1, meaning the subs, it's a lower value, over the x sub 2 minus x sub 1. Now, in math, in algebra, and in calculus, they use the letter m to talk about slope. Okay? I'm going to give you a lie, but it's going to help you remember why you use slope. Okay? Think as m as map. It's a map. When I say a map, use the slope to find points once you know a point. Okay? Now, in the world of math, M doesn't mean map. Okay? But I find with using slope, if we use the term map, map is not a point. Does that make sense? Okay, so this is the equation that we are going to see very often. I will always write it down with every problem. It will help you if you choose to write it down as well to kind of engrave it into some memory. But they also call it rise over run. That's always kind of goofy to me. I get the whole rise thing, but run, it's like, what do you mean run? You know, what do you run? You run sideways. No, I run straight. Okay? Only football practice you do the sideways. That weird. That one. You're not. If I do it. What is it?
Karaoke.
But I thought karaoke was singing in the microphone.
Oh,
I know. I get you. I get you. My friend, have you ever used that move in football though, in a game?
no.
Okay.
It's just
to warm up your hips.
yeah.
It's just to dislocate your hip. Going, look at his hips going out of place. I'm just kidding. No, I always remember like doing it when I was in football, going, Coach, win. Stirrup, sit down. Okay. So changing y or changing x, rise over run, y sub 2 minus y sub 1 over x sub 2 minus x sub 1. These are all things, but this is the main equation. Again, slope, we're going to use the word map. A map is not a point. Okay? All right, so we want to find the slope of each of these. So we said on the previous page, or on my previous page, might be your same page, this is the slope equation. Agree? Now, friends, I'm going to show you things that are going to help you along with it. Now, I know a lot of you try to shortcut it saying, I'm going to do it in my head, and unfortunately, you try and do too many things in your head at once, and it doesn't work out. So, in my opinion, and of course, I'm a math teacher, so, I'm a big dork, okay? I think it's important that you continuously write this down so it stays fresh with you. Okay, you're going to use the slope equation very often. You can use it in geometry, you can use it in algebra 2, whatever you take beyond that. Okay, it happens. It's used very often. So once you know your slope equation, you have it written down, then you come to your points and you label them. Now, my friends, I labeled the first point x1, y1. I labeled the second point x2, y2. I could indeed flip those around. I could have labeled this first point x2, y2, this second point x1, y1. It's still going to give you the same slope. Okay, remember we said 2 points will define a line. Agreed? So is number 1, are those 2 points? Yeah, 2 comma negative 5 is a point. 6 comma 3 is a different point, but those are 2 definite points. So I'm going to use those 2 points, and I want to find the slope. So if I find the slope with these, I'm going to say y2, which is 3, minus, because there's a minus sign, y1, which is negative 5, over x2, which is 3, 6, excuse me, minus x1, which is 2. Now, my friends, what do we do with the negative negative? It becomes positive, right? And then this is going to be 8 over 6 minus 2, which is 4. Can I reduce 8 over 4? Does it reduce to 2? And if it reduces to 2, is 2 the same thing as 2 over 1? Now, friends, I'm going to tell you, it's a really good idea always to write slope as a fraction. A whole number can be always put over 1. If it's always put over 1, that means your whole number can always be a fraction. Okay? So that's the slope of that. So let's change up to a different color. Let's go on this one. I'm going to label this x2, y2, x1, y1. Is there a difference that I just did up there? And I'm trying to show you a difference because I want you to realize it doesn't matter if you label one point x1, y1 and the other point x2, y2. It doesn't matter if you flip-flop it. Just don't have x1 and y2 and x2 and y1. Okay? So if I do find my slope equation, I have y2, which is 5, minus y1, which is 2. x1 is 6 minus x2 is 5 minus that is 0. I already went backwards. Over 6, which is going to give me 5 minus 2, I believe, is 3. 0 subtract 6, I believe, is negative 6. And I think that can reduce to negative 1/2. Okay, better 2. Another 2 is black one. Yeah, it looks better. I can see it now. All right. Now, I always disliked this when this happened to me when I was in school. Teacher gives me a table and says, hey, what's the slope of this table? So how many times do I need to find the slope? Once. All right. I'm going to put A, B, C, D on the top of that. The reason I'm going to do A, B, C, D is I'm going to do this. Adrian, pick me a letter between A, B, C, or D. Your choice.
C.
C? All right, Adrian chose C. Give me A, B, or D. D? Okay. So the choice was A or D. It doesn't matter if I did A and B, A and C, A and D, B and C, B and D, C and D. Doesn't matter what combination I have. That table would, if I plotted it, would form a straight line. If I have to find the slope, we just chose these 2 points. So I'm going to rewrite those points as 4, 2 and 7, 3. You follow what I did? Now again, friends, it didn't matter. If I picked negative 2, 0 or 1, 1 or 4, it doesn't matter what combination I did, as long as I don't pick the same point twice. Okay, if I want to find the slope, I'm going to label this x1, y1, x2, y2. I have my slope equation up top. So I have y2, which is 3, y1, which is 2, x2, which is 7, x1, which is 4. 3 minus 2, I believe, is 1. 7 minus 4, I believe, is 3. So we have a slope of 1/3. Okay? Now, friends, it doesn't matter what combination of points I pick from that table. I could have picked the A and the D value. I'd still get 1/3. Okay? They formed a linear equation. Now, that's not true for every table, but I'll tell you, when we're working with linear equations, I'm not going to give you a table that didn't form a linear, make a line if we graphed it. Okay. So last skill on this page. I have a point here, I have a point here. So we're going to do the y direction first. So I'm going to go down 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3, 4. I'm going to go down 4. If I went down, I'll go into the negative direction. And I'm going to go right 1, 2, 3. There's my slope. Okay? If you're like, wait a minute, you just showed us one method and then you just totally counted on another one. Okay, well, let me do this. Let me do this. x1, y1, x2, y2. So I'm going to go negative 1 minus 3, 1 minus minus 2. Negative 1 minus 3 is negative 4. Give me some room, stirrup. Minus minus becomes plus. So which way is the correct way to do it? Well, I got slope of just counting of negative 4/3. I got slope of doing the slope equation of negative 4/3. They're both effective ways. Just as long as you realize if you go the vertical direction first, if you go up and right, that's positive. If you go down and right, that's negative. If you go down and left, that's negative over negative, which is positive. But just be cautious on that. Is this the next? Is that something on there? Okay. All right. So friends, This is called slope-intercept form. This is the second way of graphing. So let's ask the first question. Is my x and my y value, are they both on the same side of the equal sign, or are they on alternate sides? They're on opposite sides. Agree? That means the 0, comma blank and the blank, comma 0 won't work. Okay? Does that make sense? So, x and y, not same side. So, 0, comma blank, blank, comma 0 won't work. Do you feel comfortable with that? Okay? So we start mixing up different letters. Y and x are always going to stay as y and x, but then we have a b value, and the b value actually becomes the y-intercept. If you write the y-intercept, it's going to be 0, comma b. I want you to realize the y-intercept is a point, so please label it as a point. Don't just give me b. Tell me 0, comma b. And then we just said m is the slope, and I said that m means that we're going to use it as a map. Okay? So there is a tiny bit of space kind of to the right of this page. So little tiny space. So I want to just kind of show you this first. Don't write it down yet. I'll give you time to write it down. So let's say I had y equals 3 over 5x minus 2. So friends, with what you know from above, what is my y-intercept on this equation? Careful. Give it to me as a point, though. 0, comma negative 2. And let's go ahead and plot it. Friends, do you feel okay with what I've just done? Is there anybody that has a question about how I just did that? Okay. Now, you remember I said the slope is a map. So the slope of this is 3 over 5. It's going to go in the vertical direction first, over the horizontal direction second. So when I say the slope is m, m is going to be like a map. That means I'm going to count from our first point here. This is our first point. I'm going to count up 1, 2, 3. You see where I got the 3 from? Then from there, I'm going to count over 5. Now I have a second point. 2 points define a line. That's all it is. So squeeze that in somewhere on that note page. And that was just a basic itinerary. Okay, I don't think you're going to be pros at this right away, but we're going to work with it today and tomorrow. Okay? Let me know if you need any more time writing down this. Anyone need more time? You're good. Thank you for answering that question on slope. But does that make sense to call it a point first? So things that you might notice about this problem. It says y equals. That's what we want for slope-intercept form. Slope meaning you have a map. Intercept meaning where it crosses the y-axis. May I move off this screen? Adrian, good? You got it. Good? Everyone else good? All right. All right, problem number 5. Tell me as a point what my y-intercept would be on number 5. 0, comma 2. Excellent. What is my slope, my friends? Oh, you nailed it. You gave it to me as a fraction. Excellent. Negative 6 over 1. Again, friends, if you realize I could take any number and put it over 1 to make it a fraction, that's all we do there. Number 6 is a little trickier because it's missing something. And if something's missing in math, what number does it have to be? 0. Okay, friends, on number 6, what is my y-intercept as a point? What's my y-intercept as a point? 0, 0. Friends, what is my slope as a fraction? 7/1. You see where everything came from? Notice something here. This 0 and this 0. It happens like that for a reason. We want our y-intercept to be a point. We want to use our slope as a map from that point to find a second slope or second point. Okay? This one appears to be a cover method. Why do I say this one's a cover method? X and Y are on the same side. So if this is going to be the case, I'm going to go 0, blank, blank, 0. And I make myself a shape. All right. That's an X value right there, agreed? Let's cover that up. What does Y have to equal? Bless you. -9, because I get negative Y equals 9, so it's going to be -9. And then I'm going to move this over here. What value is that Y? Gives me a +9. I cover up my Y value, I get a +9. All right, so friends, I can answer one part of this right now. Which one is my y-intercept? Subtle hint, look at the two above. What did I highlight? Which one of these values is my y-intercept? The first one. Good. Y-intercept is 0, comma. All right. Now, friends, I don't know the slope right now. We will learn how to get to slope, but we're not going to be there right this very second. Okay, so I'm just going to put a question mark right now. We will get to a point where we'll be able to find the slope, but I'm not too worried about it yet. We'll get there. Can I move on to number 8? What appears to be missing on number 8? X. Oh, man. So I'm missing X. So this might be one of the special cases. Remember we talked about special cases? X equals number and Y equals a number. So Y equals a number is a horizontal line. Okay? Meaning if I had this graphed, I would go down to -3, put a dot, make it a horizontal line. So with that known, what is my y-intercept by just looking at that little graph? Careful. 0, -3. We'll make a mathematician out of you anyhow. Friends, is there any rise to this line? Does it grow vertically? No rise at all. So M has to be 0. Horizontal lines have a slope of 0. Friends, take a look at number 9. Are X and Y on different sides or the same side? Same side. Cover method. 0, blank, blank, 0. So grab our triangle. Is that an X value down there? So I'm going to cover this up. So I'll just write it off to the side. So I get -2y equals 6. Divide each side by -2, so y has to equal what? -3. Is that my y-intercept? If so, how do I know? Where does the 0 fall? On the left, on the x. So that's my y-intercept. Okay? I could find the other value, but we're just asking for the slope of the y-intercept right now. Right now, I'm just going to say, you know what? As of right this moment, we're just going to put slope as a question mark because we're not sure yet. We'll get there. Okay, then problem number 10, my friends. Problem number 10. Does it look like it's slightly out of order from what we've seen, like on number 5? So rearrange the order. Positive 2/3 x. There's not a sign with the 11, so it has to be positive. What is my y-intercept as a point? 0, 11. What is my slope as a fraction? 2/3. So sometimes you might have to rearrange the order. Okay? What else do we have on there? Oh, special cases. I have to plug my computer in because I am going to... This thing's going to croak. Stirrup went and was being social and forgot to charge it between classes. All right. Undefined slope would be if I have x equals a number. So this would be a vertical line. Slope of 0 is y equals a number. And it's a horizontal line. Okay? We good? So we'll definitely see special cases a little bit more often. May I move on? All right. So I want to write this in slope-intercept form, which is y equals mx plus b. Okay? So when I use y equals mx plus b, the first thing I look for is the y-intercept. So friends, what is my b value equal to if I know my y-intercept? What is my b value if I know my y-intercept? 0 comma something, right? I want the comma something. So what does my y-intercept have to be? What is b? It's this right here. What is my b value? Let's go back 2 slides. What was my b value here? So my b value was actually 2, right? Because we're writing it as y equals mx plus b, right? So this has a b value of 2. Does that make sense on that one? This one has a b value of 0. So let's go forward. What is my b value on this one? If I know the y-intercept, what is my b value? 3. Thank you. So far I have this part of the equation. All right. So remember the slope is a map, agreed? So if I go down, down's negative, okay? So I'm going to go down 1. So I'm going to go from this point to this point. So I'm going to count down first. I'm going to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I went down 5. From here down to here is down 5. And then I'm going to go over 1, 2, 3. Right, 3. So my slope goes the vertical direction first. That was -5 because it went down. I went right 3. So now I have enough information to put this back into this equation. I have y equals -5/3 x plus 3. There's my equation. Friends, what does this y-intercept look like? 0 comma what? 0 comma 5? So what's my b value? 5. Now, these 2 points, I have this point, this point. I'm going to go down, right. So my slope is down 1, so it's negative, right 1. So if I plug this into the equation, y equals negative 1 over 1, x plus 5. What does that b value appear to be? 4. I'm going to go from here to here. Go down 1, 2, 3, down 3, right 1. Y equals negative 3 over 1x plus 4. Vertical line, special case. X equals 3. Okay? You guys have those two? Hey, so y-intercept? Upright? Y-intercept? Up 2, right 1. Page 117 and 118. Let's do the odds. What's nice about the odds, friends? All the answers are on Schoology. I wasn't done teaching. I think it's entirely rude that you did that. Am I up here writing stuff down? You go line out of the door 2 minutes before?
Bro, it was so funny when I put
Look who's the first one at the door, Sunshine. Right, Cupcake? Call me Sunshine and Cupcake? Yes, I am. Get out of here, guys. Have a great day.
Bye, Sarah.
Hey, Cheyenne, can I see you real quick? You're not in trouble.